Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tooele Happy Hour podcast, starring Jared Anderson and David Weiss, where if a podcast had head trauma, this is what it would sound like.
Yeah.
You were going to correct me there, Jared, huh?
Changing it every time.
You were going to throw in a humana.
Anyways, we've got Tooele City Mayor Winn on right now. And he's going to give us an update on the city, tell us about upcoming things. Flooding, obviously, that's on everyone's mind. And, and then I have a couple questions I want to ask her, and I'm sure Dave does as well. We want to thank her for coming on, but thank you for coming on, Madam Mayor.
You are very welcome. I'm very happy to be here and excited to give you an update on how great the city is.
Yes, yeah. I have to say our city is being managed rather well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It takes a lot of people to keep things going and running well. So I appreciate the excellent staff that we have and employees. Good people.
So let's dive right into our flooding. Where are we at?
Okay. Well, fortunately, we have not had any flooding yet. A lot of, the flooding depends on the weather, precipitation, how fast it gets hot. And so we are waiting. But I will tell you, we have been meeting with county leaders from all around our county since January. We've been meeting to talk about flooding. What are we going to do? Let's be prepared. And so we have, I believe that we are prepared as much as we can be for what's happening. We've had all the sandbagging stations out, and I'm going to throw out a few numbers because it's just unbelievable. Over 18,000 sandbags have been filled.
Wow.
We've gone through 330 tons of sand. People are ready. They truly are ready. Tooele City has over 6,000 sandbags filled and ready to go. They're on trailers. We just hook up and go down to wherever we need them.
So that not only have you had the stations where people can go and fill them themselves, but Tooele City also endeavored, filled some sandbags and for like major neighborhood diversion, where if a neighborhood's in trouble, they can go and divert it there. That's outstanding.
That's very true. In fact, we have one street in our city designated as a flood channel.
That's
if we
one
need to divert,
right over there.
7th South, yes,
Yeah.
700 South. And so, like I say, we are ready. The plan is in place. We have an excellent emergency manager, or emergency management. He is also our fire marshal, Tooele City Fire Marshal. And Nick Wall has done an excellent job working with our fire chief, our public works director, and even our police officers, making sure that everybody is ready at an instant's notice to go out and address whatever happens. So
that's
we're ready. We're ready.
That is outstanding.
You're so ready. Do you think anybody's kind of like just hoping maybe they can manage a little bit of water coming down the mountains or what?
Yeah, you know what? I always feel like when we're ready, nothing happens.
Right.
Or it happens on a real low scale.
It's the way to have it.
We're ready. Yeah. When we're not ready, that's when it's scary because we're not prepared. But you know what? We even had a resident and his wife donate over 5,000 sandbags and 10 sandbag filling stations that they donated to us to be used at the sandbag stations. And when my assistant called them and said, hey, thank you so much for what you're doing, and we're just wondering why you would do that. And he said, we feel like we are blessed and we want to give back. And this city is full of people like that. They are, and we're blessed. We're ready. We're going to really watch. This is the week that the temperatures are supposed to raise. Now we're watching.
Yeah.
We know that we're pretty confident the reservoir is going to spill up Settlement Canyon. But again, that is the water that will be redirected down 7th South if needed. If not, it will go through the pipes of the Settlement Canyon Irrigation Company. And I want you to know what a great leadership they have at that company. They're working with us very well to make sure. We're all prepared. So it's great.
Yeah. The only sad thing is we're not able to capture all that water and store it for,
So there is a good part of that. Good part, Jared. You know what's going to happen? because there's been such a drought, and the ground is so dry. Really, I mean, it's going to soak into there, and it's going to go down and fill our aquifers. Most of our water that Tooele City provides to its residents to drink, we pump out of the ground.
I know, yeah.
So it's going to fill those aquifers. So we're good.
It's gonna fill them up, and that is a good thing. It's not a point of contention for anyone saying we can't capture all of it, because who would be prepared for the odd flooding situation to catch it? That'd be money spent that would be a waste for 90% of the time anyway.
Right.
But I don't know. When the sandbag stations came up, I was just like, that's awesome. You hear them around Tooele, Grantsville. They're out, they're available. That is the type of proactive measure that a guy like me that isn't consistently proud of government looks at a government and says, that's what I want to see. Situations like that where the government says, here's an issue coming up, we're going to pull resources and get out ahead of this.
Now, what about our reservoir? Is there any danger of that thing maybe spilling over or something?
We think that it will spill over this year. The last number that I heard was we were about 40 feet, and it goes to 60 feet before it spills over. But I think that some of the newer residents don't really even understand that reservoir is not owned by Tooele City. It is owned by Settlement Canyon Irrigation Company. That water is used for irrigation. That is not our drinking water. We're appreciative that there is irrigation water so that people can use that and not the culinary water to water their yards and their gardens. And so, yes, we think that it will spill because it has to. It's not big enough to hold all the water that will probably be coming down, but that's why we have plans in place to take care of it.
How are those new houses right beneath it going to fare? Do they have plenty of runoff and diversion down there?
The state requires the irrigation company and anyone that has a dam to make sure that it is stable and that it's in good shape.
Well, I think the dam will hold.
You think the dam will hold?
But I think the dam's going to be fine.
Yeah.
They build a whole bunch of houses down beneath it in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Where the water goes is a ditch, an open ditch. Between where it comes over the top of the reservoir and SR 36, most of that property is owned by the city, and our crews have been in to clean out all garbage, debris that we can to make sure it's clear. Now, there are trees growing in the ditch, and we don't cut those out. We leave them there because the roots will help hold that soil. So, I would hope that water will stay in that ditch.
Those are some of the nicest houses in the city.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And they were built right beneath the dam. Yeah. I remember when they first started building them, I scratched my head because I remember when you used to get a lot of flooding every year down 700.
Yep.
Every year. It was common. I mean, as a kid, my grandpa would bring me up to play in it, And it was common. And we haven't had it in 15 years or so.
Too long.
And so people got used to that. And someone said, we'll build houses here. And I don't know. They may be redesigning their landscaping soon to divert water naturally.
Well, I hope that they are all safe and well and the water stays out of there.
I hope we have no property loss. I don't want to see any bad stuff from this.
Yeah, me too.
So what else are we looking at with the city? What other, we've got cleanup days coming up, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about was cleanup days. When I first took office, something important to me was that our residents take pride in where we live. And so we have created this Take Pride Tooele campaign to help people understand how important it is to be proud of where they live and to help neighbors, help people out that can't maybe take care of everything. So each year, this program has just expanded and expanded. So this year, We're doing the same thing in May that we always have. We offer 2 bulk pickup days rather than the one, but the one is open all year round. Once a month, you can always put stuff out on your curb that doesn't fit in your garbage can.
I think my neighborhood, it's the second Thursday of every month.
Yeah, there was a schedule that was put out, and it told you the day.
You can go to TooeleCity.org.
Yeah.
It's quick and easy to look up. And you just set the stuff out at your curb that day. Don't be the guy who sets it out there 3 days after and lets it ride out the neighborhood. But you set it out that day, yes.
Thank you for saying that. That is exactly right. It's all about respect. Respect for your neighbors and respect for yourself and the city we live in. So this year, we have changed a little bit up our program for the month of May. Normally, we take one Saturday in the month of May. Myself and the council will drive around town, and we will recognize individuals and families who really have gone the extra mile to take care of their yard. They're nominated by their neighbors, and we've done that for the past couple of years. This year, I decided there was a bigger problem that needed to be addressed, and that is a graffiti problem. And so what we're going to do is a week from tomorrow, Saturday, on the 20th of May, we are going to meet at 9 a.m. at the Railroad Museum. It's the Tooele Valley Museum, but we call Railroad.
It's the one up there on Vine and Broadway.
Vine and Broadway. We're going to meet there at 9 o'clock. Anybody in this city or outside of the city that wants to help, we welcome. We would love to see hundreds of people there. And we are going to have paintbrushes, and we're going to paint Broadway, and we are going to cover up all of that graffiti.
So you're going to clean up there in the old town of Broadway.
Yep.
Going to clean up a lot of that graffiti. Are those buildings mostly owned, or are they vacant?
Yeah, they are. We do know all of the owners, and we are in the process of contacting all of those to allow us to go on their private property and paint their private building, because we want to help them out. Most of them are owned by people with businesses. A lot of those buildings are empty still. They are empty. There is one white fence that is privately owned, the resident that lives there, and the fence is just covered on the back side of the fence, covered with graffiti. And so we will be reaching out to that person if we have not already, and we want to paint that fence. Now, my goal is that we can get all of that painted, get it all covered up. I would hope that it wouldn't come back. The graffiti wouldn't come back. Odds are probably will. But what I'd like to get the message out there is that, if you really are an artist and you want to paint on the side of a wall, let us know. We'll hook you up with the property owner. Let's paint something nice. A couple of years ago, there was a television show that was up there on Broadway and had redone one of the bars up there on Broadway.
Yeah.
And, part of that show, they said, that building next door needs really some paint done to it. He says, asked me if I could find somebody to paint a mural or something on the building. So, of course, I went to Roe Harrison and the art teachers at the high school and said, hey, will you help me? And they only had 3 days to do it, but they painted a mural on one part of it and then just really painted these colorful squares on the rest of the front of that building. It hasn't been touched. No graffiti there. Whatever this rule is with these graffiti artists is that they don't paint over someone else's
So respect
work.
the art.
It is respect. And so great. So don't go destroy something that's not painted. That, like I say, that is the goal, is that we help that neighborhood understand that they are important. And that area of town is just as important as where the $1 million homes are.
I would like to see that part of town thrive, because there's a lot of those structures would probably need to be worked on, but that'd be a good business friendly area if someone wants to open up a small textile deal or something like that. And I think that's a boon to go in there and beautify it and make it ready for that.
We have plans. We received a grant, and we're doing a study on that area to see what it would take to revitalize that second Main Street. It's our second Main Street.
It is.
And we would love to revitalize that area. And I'm sure that the residents would like for that to happen too. So we're also going to be painting that day at our train museum. We have a storage building up there that we've had up there for years, covered with graffiti. We're going to paint that also.
So they're getting inside the fence and...
Yeah. Well, it didn't have a fence around it for a while now.
Yeah.
Most of it is fenced. We've still got areas that are not fenced, but again, the goal is to get it all painted. Let's clean it up, and then let's try to keep it that way, and let these graffiti artists, or whatever you want to call them, that let them know that we don't want this in our city. We want beautiful things.
Yeah. If we catch one, can we make their sentence be they have to go paint a mural somewhere?
Oh man, I wish. I want you to understand I myself am a little frustrated just with the legal system. First of all, that it is so slow of getting things done, but that sometimes we just see that there's not a lot of punishment. And to just give you an example, there was an article in the Transcript Bulletin a week ago about a gentleman that we had made an arrest back in May of 2022 for graffiti.
1 year ago.
He admitted, he admitted that he had done this. He was arrested. He was in jail for 11 hours. He was released, and his court date is next month.
So
a year.
13 months after. And I mean, that'd be a quick one. Honestly, a judge should say, okay, what you're going to do is make it even worse. At your cost, you're going to go paint this wall, and this wall, and I want them painted white or mauve or, tan, whatever the rest of the building is, and that's your fine.
If you could make that happen.
Yeah.
What's unfortunate is this same individual was arrested again in April of this year. Mm-hmm. And we believe that over 100 of the taggings that we've seen around town were probably committed by just this individual. Again, only spent a few days in jail. Not in jail now. I'm hoping that maybe they've got the paint out of their system. I don't know. But it's frustrating to us that there is no repercussion. Our police department has a very fine investigative department, a section division of it. And, we make a lot of arrests for graffiti, a lot of underage juveniles. But once a juvenile is charged, we have no idea what happens. That's private records. We don't know. I don't know what punishments are, or if there is punishment. So that's a little frustrating for us.
How long before the police even quit making arrests or investigating, because there's no good, it's a waste of taxpayer money?
You would be frustrated, and I believe that frustration has to be happening with our police officers, but they don't show it because they keep investigating, keep charging, keep trying to keep our city clean. So yeah, it's a little frustrating, but I think the best thing that we can do is we paint over it, and then if it happens again, we paint over it again, and we show them that we're not going to just let it go anymore. We're going to clean it up, but I can't do it alone. Neither can, the city can't do this alone. Code requires a property owner to clean up their own graffiti, and I know they feel the same way that we do. I paint it, they paint again. We paint it, happens again. So I just would hope that we could get everybody on board with this to say, not in our city, not in our town. We're not going to do this anymore. Not going to allow it. Let's keep painting over it.
Debbie, does there ever have any type of incidences where the citizens get involved with preventing the graffiti without the police interventions, or maybe somehow stopping it on their own, or confronting the graffiti individuals? Have you ever heard of anything like that happening in Tooele? I
really haven't. They have the neighborhood watch programs. That might be part of it. I really feel like a lot of the times we get the graffiti in the neighborhoods, but not like we do in the business district, which is downtown or over on Broadway. That's where the majority happens. I mean, it still will happen out and about. But security cameras now, I mean, you can't do anything without somebody's got you on camera, more than likely. And so we hope that people will have security cameras out and about. At least we can identify. Some citizens are not thrilled when they know that we have cameras up because we're taking away their privacy. There's no privacy in this world anymore.
No.
It is what it is. But, when we're able to use that camera footage and really catch someone, punish them, hopefully they'll be punished at some point, arrested and charged. We would hope it would teach them a lesson to say, this isn't the funnest thing to do. I don't like paying a fine, or I don't like spending the night in jail. Let's knock it off,
I love the idea of making them paint, giving them a good 3 days of hard work.
Well, couldn't the city government pass a law that says, okay, after you're punished by whatever law is in place, we have some extra love for you that we're going to inflict?
I don't think a city government can pass an ordinance that has punishment assigned, can they?
We can fine people.
Uh-huh.
That's what we can do. I mean, we can charge them, but that does go through a court system, and we don't have our own
and
court.
then even the judge could just ignore it.
Yep.
But we get good judges out here.
Yeah.
So now I do know when I was younger, growing up, a few of those abandoned houses or abandoned structures, most of them originally weren't houses. Most of them were small businesses. Were a place that ne'er-do-wells would break in and hang out a lot. I do know they did it a lot at the old hotel that was up there.
Yeah.
And a lot of those, is that still an ongoing issue, or?
It is. There was one building that continued to be broken into, and the owner said, "I'm done." So we tore it down. It's gone. There is another building that is owned by the same owners that owned the hotel before it burned to the ground. And that building is still empty, and it is one of the ones that's covered on the one side with the graffiti. So you don't even have to break in. You just walk in.
Yeah.
It continually trying to get the property owners to keep those buildings secure. It's very difficult to make someone tear down a building. If we could do that, that old bowling alley wouldn't be there, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Because it is very, very difficult to make people do that, even by the law. It's property rights, and as long as they keep it secure, and that one is not secure all the time, but as soon as it's not secure, we notify the property owner, and they cover it up again.
Yeah, and the price he wants for that is just ridiculous.
I don't know if you know that building got sold.
Did it?
Yeah.
At a ridiculous price?
I don't know what the price was, but I will tell you right now, the property, it's public record. It is owned by Speedway. Speedway? Is that the one that's the gas station?
Yeah.
I was going to say Speedco, but Speedco is not it. I believe it is Speedway. But we do understand that company either has been or is in the process of being purchased by 7-Eleven. And we have talked to officials at 7-Eleven, and they said eventually that something will be done on that property. But right now, they're not tearing the building down.
We don't have enough 7-Elevens in Tooele yet, so.
Can you ever have enough of those?
Well, no, that's good, because I was thinking we could start a pool on when that building falls in on itself.
Yeah, the roof is not in good condition.
The roof is almost gone. That front entrance area has collapsed.
Right.
And that's the hazard. If teenagers are breaking in there, what happens if that falls and hurts a kid? Property owners, that becomes your hospital bill.
Not necessarily.
Really?
Yes, there is no trespassing signs, and the person that's hurt will be charged with trespassing.
Yeah, in their hospital bed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way the law works, and I don't know. I would encourage, a large corporation like that ought to step in and at least clean it up. I will let you know that when that front end, the front little awning had crashed in, we did let them know about that, and they did clean it up.
Yeah,
they did clean it up
I saw them.
that part. So
they cleaned it up and shored up
we
what was
appreciate it.
left. Yeah,
gas station would be awesome on that corner.
A gas station.
That'd be great.
Another little produce store, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, anything would be great. We could use all of it. A clothing store. You know, like whatever those lady clothing stores are that pop up everywhere.
Yep. Ross.
21s or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of questions
Okay.
coming in from some listeners, if you don't mind. And Corey asks a really good one. If it quits jumping on me, is the city worried about the sandbar up in Erda eroding? Now, are they talking? Is he talking about the car fort, that old slag?
I
mound,
don't really know what sandbar really he is talking about. If it's that old slag area, that is a conservation area that is monitored daily by a company that keeps track of that for them. So
Yeah.
I don't know that is sand, but yeah, I'm not really sure what sand he's talking about.
If you got something else on that, Corey, please let us know.
Yeah.
You know, on that subject, Mayor, the waters that are being sampled, and I talked to you about this in the office, the nitrite levels were 5.1, which was just at the halfway point for the levels that are legally allowed. Was anyone concerned about those particular levels elevating?
You know, what we do is we follow the state regulations, and that water report that comes out, we do all of our testing. If anything is out of line over those numbers that the state will allow, we notify residents. We have to by state law. So I don't know that anybody is not concerned. I mean, we're concerned at any level of any kind of stuff in our water, but that's what stuff's in our water. It's below the amount that the government says is safe. So,
right. Okay, we'll leave it there.
That's what I can tell you.
Probably a thing that saves us is most of the farming is on the other side from the mountain. So the nitrates and the fertilizers get pulled into the water and filtered through the ground after it's come through, you know, our area and our capture devices. So that's a good thing.
Right.
Ollie says, great cause to get the community behind, talking about the painting. She also says, that's ridiculous on the court hearings. Worse, there are the same waiting times for people who have committed even worse crimes. As great as our LEOs are, their hands are tied until the prosecutor files charges. Our system is broken and also probably overwhelmed. I'm sure that his 13-month wait for trial isn't because they said, let's sit on it. I'll bet they've got stuff stacked up in front of him.
I would agree with that 100%. I don't work in the legal system, but I am sure that they are backed up. Just look at a court calendar.
Yeah.
And you can see that, you know, what is going on, and it's tough. And a lot of times, really, judges' hands are tied.
Oh, yeah.
They can only sentence what is legal. So I think that we need to relook at this reform situation. At some point, it just feels like there's no punishment. And if there's not a punishment, well, I'm just going to do it again.
Yeah, I like the idea of community service as much as possible. I think if someone is guilty, they're more prone to admit to that guilt if the punishment is, say, going and painting over, you know, tagged areas versus the punishment is time in jail.
Yep.
And so I think that was me. Okay. You know, all right, I'll buy the paint. Does it have to be the best paint? I mean, can I buy the Glidden, not the Bear, and go down and paint it, you know? Versus if he's staring down the barrel, 3 months in jail. And if I know who you're talking about, he's not a kid. He's, you know, so I think that might be more prone, and it'd be a lot quicker if we could just shuffle people through their legal system quick. And justice delayed is justice denied.
Right.
You know?
Right. I believe that.
What is the maximum punishment a graffiti artist can receive here in Tooele? Do you know?
I don't know. I do not know.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens when that court date's finalized, I guess.
Yeah.
How would it be if people hired him to do real artwork and he went and got to practice his skills on people who wanted it done to their environment, and he got it out of his system? He made money doing it. Right now, I mean, all he's doing is taking away the value of other people's stuff.
Yeah. People are paid to paint those murals on the building.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I would love to have him show up on Saturday and help us.
What about that
And
Banksy guy?
paint something nice.
That Banksy guy that everyone talks about that went to the art show and like stapled a banana to the wall and made him. Anyways, he started out as like a tagger, and he's one of the, like, he's our Picasso without, he's got both his earlobes, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Holly says, sadly, I know that we're probably way behind in the courts due to COVID. Yes, that's another thing to add on. And possible case overload. There's got to be a way to get back on pace and make people accountable for their actions more swiftly. Thanks for all your work, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Holly.
Yes, and maybe a good brainstorming. Sadly, our courts are dealt with on a state level. Our courts, it's not like you can really surmise a justice system underneath you. I mean, I guess you probably could, but everyone would freak out.
We did try to see if there was that option. And really, I did speak with the justice courts. And because we have one here in the city, a block from our building, they would not allow us to have another one. But I'll tell you what kind of a court that we do have. It's called a youth court. You heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, we have a youth court here in really Tooele County. Tooele City has just taken over sponsorship of that program. And it really is an opportunity for the youth, rather to be prosecuted through the criminal system, that they come to a place where their peers are the judges.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. They
So
meet
other
at City
kids are
Hall.
judges?
We meet at City Hall. They meet at City Hall every Thursday evening. And Becky Bracken, who is a former Tooele City police officer, runs that program as a volunteer. No money is paid to her to run this program. So she recruits the students from the schools throughout the county to be the judges. They learn how to be attorneys to represent. And then the school district, along with Tooele City, Tooele County, anyone that has a juvenile they've got some issues with, graffiti can be one, that they bring to the court, and their peers sentence them to whatever, if they're found guilty of whatever their crime is. And what Becky requires of them to do is they don't pay a fine. They're out there doing community service work, and they are cleaning up graffiti, but they're also going in and cleaning up public properties. And I know of one gentleman that was a senior that was just really not able to clean up the weeds in his yard. And of course, they were against code. They were quite tall. They went in and cleaned them all up for him. That was the punishment. And parents support this. It makes more sense than going through the juvenile justice system, which normally doesn't
That's genius.
teach them a lesson. So I will tell you,
That's pretty cool.
Becky in this program is very a great asset to our community. It really is.
And getting kids civic minded in that way, that's how you do it. That's outstanding.
Yep.
Oh man.
I think.
I bet they kind of have fun doing it too.
Yeah,
they do.
I'm sure.
Hate to
bet
say
they
it.
do.
I mean,
Yeah.
all but one or two of them.
Well, at least the ones on the side of
Yeah.
the judges. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think that's good. When I was growing up in high school, not me, obviously, I was an angel, but I had friends who got community service. And I remember, they would go out and clean up the rodeo grounds there in Grantsville. That was a community service job. Or, half the time mowing the lawn around the old city hall was a community service job. And I think that was a great thing. You got sentenced to it. And every Saturday, buddies of mine would be running a weed eater or a lawnmower. Now, granted, there might be a little bit of liability nowadays, which would make cities scared of that. But,
Yeah. There's always a liability.
We could always give them those rounded off kindergartner scissors and have them mow lawns. But
Right.
I remember, the weed eater they had a weed eater that they just put a saw blade on, because down there at Grantsville Rodeo Grounds get some thick bushes.
Yeah.
And you had to use a saw blade to get through
Wow.
them. And, yeah. I don't know. I think that's all great stuff.
Yeah. You know, we have a lot of things to do in the city. We truly do. And not just for the adults, but for families and for teenagers. For anybody that says there's just nothing for teenagers to do, come and talk to me. I can find a lot of things that we have in the city for people to do that are constructive rather than destructive. And there's just a lot of good people here who do care about our community and where we live. And it's a slow process of getting that mindset changed, where we help each other out and we help to take care of each other's property if we need to, rather than complain about it.
For sure. Now, a couple more things. I heard that there is and I don't know if this is through the city or the county, but there's also a free landfill day coming up.
We have heard that also. The landfill here, local landfill, is owned by Tooele County. And we did hear that they were going to allow residents to come to the county building and pick up a pass that they could go out. I don't know where we're out in that process. They are at, but yes, we've been working with them to coordinate our cleanup day efforts.
It'd be not, yeah, I need to reach out to the county and get that information. Who knows? Maybe they already emailed it to me and I'm just a Luddite who doesn't know how to read emails. But, you know, those are all helpful things, especially in spring cleaning, to go and manage stuff like that.
Right.
How about the lawn trailer? Is that thing getting rented out often?
Yes. It is getting rented out. Our trailer that you brought up, we talked about that last time. I think that I was here. Our cleanup trailer.
Yeah, so let's do an update. Let people know who may not have heard about it before. Yeah. The city offers a
cleanup trailer. It isn't just for an individual to clean up their yard. But if you will get a group of people together, identify the area, and normally it is their neighborhood, and they will go out and clean up park strips or clean out the weeds between the ditch really and the road where they grow up between the asphalt there, or they will trim trees in the public right-of-way. They will help their neighbors. So this great big trailer, you get online, sign up for it, schedule a time. We will bring you the trailer. We will bring you a dump trailer to put all of the garbage in. And inside of our cleanup trailer are rakes, shovels, wheelbarrows, power tools. We have real weed eaters. They don't have saw blades on them, but they have the little line.
Yeah, no, you got
but we have
nice
weed eaters. We have the shrub trimmers. Everything is in there that you need to clean. The bags even to package everything in. And then, like I say, we bring the dump trailer. So you just schedule it for a couple of hours or a day, whatever. We'll bring it there and let you clean up, and then we'll pick it up.
And that's awesome. You know,
we'll take care of it.
You don't have to go enjoy the dump. I mean, and equipment that you may not have access to otherwise.
Yep. A lot of people can't afford it. The batteries in those battery operated little tools are expensive, and it is an expense that a lot of people just can't afford. So this is just a way also to get together and get to know your neighbor, get to know the people around you, and understand maybe why their yard doesn't look as well as what you think that it should. There are people that just physically can't do it, or they don't have the tools to do it. And so, like I say, learn about your neighbor, learn who they are, and work with each other and help each other out to improve your neighborhood and make it look nice.
For sure.
Yep.
Yes.
Another challenge that I think will be facing us very shortly, if not already, potholes.
Potholes.
Yeah.
They're working on them. They are working on them. There's a couple of streets even that maybe now they're not potholes. Now they're little bumps a little bit before they settle back in. But this winter, as grateful as we are for the rain and the snow and all the moisture we've received, it has played havoc on our roads. They're in terrible shape. Several of them are in terrible shape. So we're doing the best that we can to get those potholes filled. I will tell you, we have an excellent streets crew. I mean, they are the best. Not only are they filling the potholes, they are the ones that are cleaning out these ditches. They're the ones that are available to clean up and prepare. They also are preparing the signs, and our streets crew are also in charge of our storm drains. So they're cleaning out the storm drains also. So they're not just filling potholes. So that's why we just ask our residents to be patient.
What do they use to clean out our storm drains?
We purchased a vac truck.
Really?
And it sucks it out.
Okay, I was going to say, because our storm drains aren't big enough for people access.
Nope.
So you have to physically probably scope it, identify the issue, and figure out how to get to it.
So any help that residents can give us of not putting their leaves in the gutter so it runs down and fills up the storm drain. And you see those stormwater grates, we want those to be cleaned off. They have continually been cleaning up the leaves, rocks, anything else. But once that gets down into the storm drains, basically it's a big vacuum and it sucks out the storm drains.
I'll bet that's a heck of a vacuum.
It was not a cheap machine, let me tell you.
Don't want to walk too close to the tip of that. So
Can people volunteer to help the street crews? I mean, is there a program that people can help do that kind of work with them?
Some of the machinery they would not be able to use just because we've got to be certified. It's that liability thing. Remember where when we were young, we used to be able to ride in the back of a truck and we were fine. Yeah. The laws are there to protect us, but just going around and cleaning up the gutters and like I say, those storm drain grates where you live on a corner and you see that grate and it's just full and water can't run down it, clean it out. Some of our ditches too, to get into a driveway, they have those little half moon entrances and everything gets stuck under there, and then it creates the water to run around into the road, destroys the road instead of running down the ditch where it should run. Is clean those out too. So do the best that you can as a resident to take care of those. And it's just a volunteer. We're asking anyone that wants to help whenever. During the month of May, of course, it's a special month of our cleanup that we have several projects online that groups will sign up to do. And as I came over here today, I stopped on my way at Elton Park. We had a realtor group over there just picking up garbage, raking, cleaning up anything that they could clean up just to make it look better. And we have many groups in the next month just solid helping us clean up. It's great.
And where do they go online? Is that just...
It's on our Parks Department webpage, tooelecity.org. We just got a brand new website. Took us about a year to change over. It's an awesome looking website, and it would be under the departments, and then you go down to parks. And if you want to even just
old website, I need to see the new one.
If you call the city and talk to someone in the parks department, they're going to just tell you all kinds of things that you can do to help us. Or if you have an idea of your own, you're welcome to do that. We have people planting flowers at the cemetery. We've got an awesome ladies group that every year plants the flowers in the planters on Main Street. They're going to be out next Saturday planting those. We have youth groups. We have the Rotary Club. I think the Rotary Club signed up for 3, 4, whatever projects. So under departments, where's our Parks and Recreation? Right up there at the
here.
top.
Okay. Online registration.
So I'm going to tell you, I don't even know which one of those that you
Parks and Facilities.
Click on. You can reserve a spot at any of our parks, and that's what part of that was. That's for maintenance. And this is what's good. I want to tell you about this.
Yeah, if you need
anybody that goes to a park, something is broken, something needs to be repaired, you can go into that part of that website and put your information in there and say, hey, I need something fixed. And this is the cool part.
And you can put pictures.
You can put pictures of it. As soon as you enter that, one of our Parks Department members, normally it's the Parks Director, automatically gets a notice on his phone, wherever he is, and he will direct it to the person that needs to fix it, and they send someone out if it's an emergency. If it's on a weekend, they'll wait till Monday if it's not an emergency. But during the day and people are there, it gets repaired just like that. So we did this first just for our staff, and then we decided, hey, the public ought to be able to use this. and
That's
report
fantastic.
damages and problems at the park. You know, when graffiti happens too, we have an awesome pressure washer that works really well if you can get to it within the first couple of days. And so we like to know, like I say, when the graffiti happens. So I'm looking over here is the quick link. See, you can see the neighborhood cleanup trailer.
Uh-huh.
I don't see the link right there to sign up for one of these projects. So how about I find that out and let you know, and we'll
Okay.
get that info of how to sign up for those specific opportunities that we have to clean up, at least during the month of May. But, you know, we hope people will clean up all the time. It's just that the weather now is finally getting better, and we have that opportunity to be outside. And that's great. So
This is a clean website.
we're getting there. Of course, not everything is put over on there yet. Oh, can I talk about that?
Yes, talk about it.
Do you have a dowdle puzzle? Do you have one of the Tooele City dowdle puzzles?
I don't know what a dowdle puzzle is.
Oh, I haven't. See that kind of photo in the background there?
Uh-huh.
We commissioned Eric Dowdle to paint a folk art painting of our city. And then Eric turns them into puzzles.
Really?
And there is a purpose behind it. Every puzzle piece is important. And it's the same with people. People are important. Everyone is important. And so kind of the theme is that, there's everyone is important. We want you to be included in everything that that happens in our cities, in our families, just that everyone is important. So we commissioned the painting. Right now, the original artwork is hanging in City Hall. The puzzles have been produced, and that video that was there was the big unveiling of the puzzle. And we had individuals from our city come in and put their piece of the puzzle in. If it was a business, we had the business put in their puzzle piece. It was a great celebration. It is the 170th birthday of our city. We're 170 years old.
Really? Tooele is that old?
We're 170 years old. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But anyone can buy these puzzles. We are selling them for 12. We have 12 months. When we run out, you can buy them from Eric Dowdle. But for right now, we are selling the puzzles. They're $24.99 plus tax. We will ship them out of state. In state. We can ship them wherever, but it's expensive to ship them, so you may not want to pay that extra. But it is a treasure for anyone that is from this city, has family, ancestors that helped, that lived in this city, or even the person that just moved in here today. That puzzle shows our history and what we are as a community. And so please come down and buy a puzzle or two and save them for Christmas, give them as Christmas gifts. But they are beautiful. So you can sign up and do those on our website, or just come to City Hall when we're open and you can purchase a puzzle.
I like it.
That's pretty cool.
I like it.
They are really, really great. People are loving it. It's fun also to sit and build that puzzle with your family, your friends, your neighbors. We tend to do everything electronically now, and we sit next to each other and text each other instead of talk. I'm guilty. I've done it too. But I'll tell you, when you sit and you build a puzzle, you're sitting there, you're talking to each other. You might be talking about what you're doing in the puzzle or what's in the puzzle, which is a fun part, is, oh, look at that's the old sun again. It's in there. Those kind of things are fun, but it does bring people closer together.
My wife is addicted to puzzles. She went over to her friend's house in upstate area, and she had a big puzzle, and every time they'd pass by the kitchen,
In
they'd
that foreign
look for
country you're from?
around that area. Yeah. But it was really cool. I mean, they had this really big puzzle, and they're all contributing a piece as they go by, doing a chore or whatnot, and then they just find themselves there with a beer, talking back and forth, and
Build it as a group.
Yeah.
that's what they did. Puzzles.
It does. It brings people together. It truly does. And that's important to us, because I think that a lot of the problems we have in the world is that we do feel alone sometimes, or like I say, we don't understand or communicate very well with each other. And if we could all just sit down and talk with each other, I think we would find that we have things in common, and that we can enjoy one another. That's what it's about. It's about enjoying the world that we live in instead of being miserable and upset because it's not the world we want. Make it the world that we want.
As communication has become easier, we've all divided more.
Yep.
All right. I do have a tough question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, the motel just up the hill there has been sold to a rehab center, from what I understand.
Recovery.
A recovery center. What do we know about this? What are we looking at with that?
So, I think that people have a real misconception about the type of people, what they feel are the type of people that go to a recovery center. These are people of all ages. I mean, obviously this one's an adult one, but people become addicted to substances for all kinds of reasons, and it affects people on that are low income and great incomes. It does not differentiate between who suffers this. I believe it's an illness. I'm not a doctor, but I believe that addiction is an illness. And when people recognize that they have this illness, they need to be treated.
So is it a voluntary?
Yes, it is voluntary.
Okay, it's voluntary. It's not a court-ordered one.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, it's voluntary for the person to be there, but the courts do send people to these facilities, and it's either jail or you're going to go get the help you need. It's just like the drug court system that works right now. Is you're charged with a felony. If you go through the drug court system and you stay off of your drugs, then your felony goes away. They're trying to help people get better. So when we say, people have said, well, there might be felons up there. Well, felons could live next door to you, but if they're living next door to you, they paid for their crime, and now they move on. So it's this recovery center is nothing for anybody to be afraid of. They're in every community, and in fact, Tooele City allows these in just a residential area. This is in a mixed-use area where people are doing business and living. But even if those people that are not, I guess you could call it court-ordered, or you can just say it is, the court has said you go to jail or you go get help. If you decide you don't want to be there, then you go to jail. That's what happens. But it is voluntary for people to say, hey, I need help.
Your OBS screenshot capture is on. Shared.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's just really no reason for anyone to be afraid of it. In fact, I am grateful that there is a facility in town now that people can go to and get the help that they need.
I agree. I don't want it to sound like I'm opposed to rehabs, but there is obviously always a hazard with building an area where a whole bunch of people gather, that it's not even just them. The people that they ran around with while they were under the abuse tend to gather close by to that as well. And there is a concern that it may change the face of that neighborhood up there.
Yeah. There will be 24/7 security. And it is not to protect necessarily the people on the outside from those people that are there in recovery. It's the opposite. Sometimes there will be domestic violence victims that are there that are kept safe away from someone. But this is not just local people that are here. They are people from outside of our community, even can be out of state. The clinicians up there understand about getting around those people that have what you need or what you thought you needed. And they have a great process in their program that they not only help you to beat your addiction, but they help you to get a job. Part of it in the second phase really is working. So they'll be working and then going back there at night, or vice versa, whatever their work schedule is. They're going to be helping them to acclimate back into society. And I believe that these kind of organizations are better than anything we're doing at a prison.
Very true.
Helping people to get back to be productive citizens, and that's what it's about. And so, I do not believe that facility would put anyone in this community more at risk than what's normal out there that we see every single day. When we're taking a 9mm out of a student's hand at the junior high.
Ooh, so that happened here?
Okay. So, yesterday or the day before. So it's the world we live in. We all have to be as careful as we can ourselves to protect ourselves and our family, unfortunately. But it is my opinion that recovery facility is not going to bring any negative effects to this community that, first of all, aren't already here. And I do not see that it is a security concern or a safety concern for our residents. This is people that need help, and they're your family. They're your family, your friends. Even the gentleman that runs it said they're the people you go to church with. You will find people with addictions in every aspect of life. And if they are big enough to say, hey, I have a problem, I need help, we have a place that we can send them.
All right. That's a good answer.
There's a great little text here on our thread from Christine. Heard a great piece of advice this morning from Mickey Willis, the guy who did Plandemic. And it goes, the most important gift we can give each other is presence when we're with each other. And I think that heals a lot more than most medicines.
Going back to the building with the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Put your phone down and pay attention to who you're with.
Very true.
I like it as we talk to everybody over the internet. The irony of it all.
The togetherness.
But it is still a way to get a message out and encourage people to talk. So
it is. It's the modern town hall.
Yeah.
It's the modern Rotary Club. It's the modern gathering hole, and in a few ways it's better because this will be out there forever. We can do this right now, and you may not be able to watch it right now because you're at work, but you can catch it later and you can comment on it later. The mayor can see the comments, we can see the comments, and someone may not know what's going on in the city and be able to watch this and catch the mayor telling them this is what we have.
This is literally graffiti on the walls of history.
This is graffiti. This is art. Okay, so before we close up, where are the sandbag stations? Holler them out for people in case they want to do some last minute filling.
Interesting enough, because the majority of the sandbagging stations, no one is using them right now. They're just empty. So we're picking up what we have. We had them at the Dow James and at Elton Park, but we're closing those up. I think there might still be a little until we get them all cleaned up. But the one up on 9th South, that is the one that we will keep open with the county. We're keeping that one open. And then if we see changes, those sandbagging stations will be put back in again at Dow James Building, Elton Park. We had them at Fire Station number 2, and over at the city shops. We is where we have just our bags stored. So we will keep that message out on Facebook. We also use the Alert Sense that the county does, the little app on your phone to let people know. We're just going to watch, but we are ready. So
good. So. Where the sandbagging station is now is on the south end of town by the municipal fuel station, right next to the trailers where the search and rescue keep their equipment and stuff. But if other things pop up, you got it at Dow Jones and at Elton Park.
Yep. Or Dow James and Elton Park. Mm-hmm.
Dow James on the north side of town. Just head north on Coleman or 200. You're not going to miss it. Elton Park is one up on Broadway, kind of in the northern midsection of Broadway at the entrance of Newtown. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
You're very welcome.
This has been great.
Thank you.
It
for
really
having
has.
me.
And I mean, I've got to shout out our mayor has, you've impressed me. You've been fantastic every time.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, everyone. That's Mayor Winn. And up next, we've got Mayor Critchlow from Grantsville.